It's time to talk about the signal beneath the skin. Have you ever noticed how groups of people start thinking the same? Not because they sat down and agreed, not because they were told directly, but slowly, subtly, they begin to share the same opinions, the same emotional reactions, the same emotional tone, almost like they're syncing, like a hive mind. Now, most people would call this cultural influence, social conditioning, whatever. And again, that's not wrong, but it's incomplete. Because what you're seeing is not just shared ideas, it's shared frequency alignment. Humans don't just communicate with words, we communicate through tone, body language, nervous system signals, electromagnetic fields, and your body is constantly picking up on all of it. So when you spend time in a group, your system starts doing something automatically. It matches. Not because you're weak, but because you were designed to synchronize. Synchronization is actually pretty natural. Whoever controls the dominant signal influences the group, not by forcing them, but by becoming the loudest frequency in the room. And suddenly, control doesn't look like control anymore, does it? It looks like trends. It looks like narratives. It looks like emotional waves and collective reactions. But what if the room is not just physical? What if it's digital spaces, media, environments, even geographic locations? Then synchronization can happen at any scale. And this is where you should start to see something bigger. You are not just influenced by what you think, you are influenced by what you're immersed in. And that immersion is constant. But let's bring it back to the body. Your skin feels like a boundary, but it's not. Your nervous system extends much beyond it. Your electromagnetic field extends beyond it, which means you are always in contact with the environment around you, whether you're aware of it or not. Always. Now imagine that environment is carrying signals, emotional signals, behavioral signals, perceptual signals, and your system is constantly asking, do I match this or do I resist it? Do I like it? Do I fuck with it? Or do I hate it? Most of the time, you don't even realize that you're answering. But this is the part that matters most. Some people do start to notice this. They feel when something is off. They question patterns. They don't fully sync when everyone else does. And those people begin to desynchronize from the dominant signal. That's what people call waking up, becoming aware, seeing through things. But from a systems perspective, it's simply this. They stopped automatically matching the frequency around them. Now, this is where the part hits the hardest. Not everyone does this because synchronization feels safe. It feels like belonging, certainty, stability. And stepping out of it feels like isolation, confusion, tension, friction. To most people, don't leave the signal. Most people like to reinforce it. And that's how systems sustain themselves, not through force, through social agreement. This is where everything should start to connect. If your body is an antenna, your spine is a transmitter, and your trauma creates special access points, and your environment carries signals, then your experience of reality is not fixed. It is continuously shaped, not just by what happens around you, but what you are tuned into. So the real question becomes, what are you tuned into right now? Not intellectually, emotionally, physically, energetically. What are you tuned into right now? Are you allowing your environment to shape your opinions, or are you directing it yourself no matter what happens around you? And if you don't like the answer, that's not the problem. Because tuning can be changed, not instantly, not perfectly, but intentionally, day by day. And intention is where your power actually lives. Not in controlling the world, but in choosing what you align with and what you don't. So here's something to try. The next time you feel yourself getting pulled into a mood, agreeing with something automatically, or reacting without thinking, pause and ask, is this mine, or am I matching something? Don't rush the answer. Just feel it. Because the moment you ask that, you create space. And in that space, you are no longer just part of the signal. You're finally choosing it. Okay, I want to say something, and I don't want you to agree with it right away. Just let it sit. Let that shit sit. Not everyone is meant to stay in the same signal. You felt this before. That moment where something everyone else accepts just doesn't sit right with you. A conversation feels rehearsed, like people are repeating something and not truly thinking about it. Or a reaction around you just feels so fucking uniform. And you pause just for a second. That pause, that's where this episode begins. Because most people don't pause. They match. They absorb. They synchronize without a second thought. And again, that's not weakness. That's design. That's the system's design. That is the program's design. But some people don't do it automatically. No. We hesitate. We question. We feel friction where others feel certainty. And those people, we often get labeled difficult, intense, overthinking, overwhelming, too much, so much. But what if that's not dysfunction? What if that's signal independence? Now let's talk about what happens when someone stops syncing completely. At first, it's subtle. They start noticing patterns faster. We start seeing contradictions more clearly. We feel the emotional manipulation almost immediately. It's not because we're smarter. It's because I'm no longer automatically aligning with the shit around me. And that changes everything. Because systems rely on that synchronization that I refuse to give. It's not control, it's not force, it's agreement. And I don't agree with the system. And if enough people agree, that system holds. If enough people stop agreeing, it doesn't explode. It destabilizes quietly. Now here's the part that matters. When someone becomes fully self-directed, fully aware of what we're aligning with, we become hard to predict, hard to influence, and that makes us uncomfortable to systems built on predictability. Not dangerous in the way that you've been taught, no, but disruptive. Because we don't react the same way that they're expected to. We don't follow emotional waves. We don't adopt narratives automatically. We don't mirror group behavior without awareness. We choose, and choice breaks patterns. Now let's bring this back to you. You don't have to become someone extreme. You don't have to isolate yourself anymore. You don't have to reject everything. This isn't about rebellion. It's about precision, the ability to feel something and ask, do I actually align with this? And then act accordingly. Now here's where it gets real, because this path is not fucking comfortable. When you stop syncing automatically to those around you, you will notice more tension in conversations, more awareness of things others ignore, more moments where you feel out of place. And that's not because something is wrong. It's because you're no longer blending into the signal. You're standing just slightly outside of it. And from here, you can finally see the patterns, the loops, the repetitions. And once you see it clearly, you can't fully unsee it. But here's the part that no one will tell you. You don't lose connection with people. You just stop connecting unconsciously. And that means your relationships become more intentional, more honest. Sometimes, more often than not, fewer or none. But it's real. Now take a breath, because this is the final piece I leave with you. If enough people become aware, become coherent, become self-directed, learn emotional cognition, the system doesn't need to be fought. It changes because it no longer has the same level of agreement holding it in place. And that shift doesn't happen all at once. It happens like this. One person pauses, one person questions, one person chooses differently, and then another, and then another, and another. And suddenly what felt fixed isn't anymore. So I will leave you with this, not a conclusion, a mirror. Think about your day. How many moments did you react automatically? How many moments did you agree without checking in with yourself? How many moments did you feel something and not question it? And how many moments did you actually pause? Because that pause, that tiny gap, that's where your freedom lives. Not escaping the system, not rebelling against it, but in choosing how you exist within it.